Hi, I'm Sally. I'm an alcoholic. Hi, everybody. It's good to be here, and it's good to know I'm an alcoholic. I knew there was something wrong, but I just didn't know what it was. And, what a privilege and pleasure to speak for Alcoholics Anonymous. And, it's the most important thing in my life. If I'm not sober, I'm giving up. I'm throwing in the towel. The party's over. The party was over for me. I lived on Catalina Island. That's where and that town is only 1 square mile, and I couldn't go downtown anymore because I couldn't find my way back home. I'd end up at the wrong house. I'd end up where I used to live, and people would let me just stay on the couch, So my drinking got limited to just my house. There was no party going on. The party was over. I was the only one at the party, and I think there was lots of times I kind of pretended like there was a party, but it was just me, and I'd go in and get a nice glass, and like there's some occasion here, and there was no occasion, and I spent a lot of time thinking, I'm not going to drink tonight when I get up in the morning, or how I felt in the morning. I'm not going to drink tonight. I made that promise, and I didn't know how to not drink tonight. I didn't know what to do. I can remember sitting in that chair thinking, I don't want to drink tonight, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what people do that don't drink. And I remember I walked out to my porch, and I could see people going downtown, and I knew it was a group of people, and they were probably going to go down and have dinner. And when I looked at them, I knew I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't be trusted to go downtown because I couldn't get back home, and plus I was ashamed of my behavior, and I knew that night the problem was alcohol, but I didn't know how to change it. And there was a woman that I talked to that was sober over there. I knew her and her husband came to town, and everybody knows everything about everybody there, they're sober and alcoholic, And so I talked to her, and she told me you guys didn't drink at all. I mean, not at all. I thought you just knew how to drink and not get drunk. And what about Christmas and occasions? And I said, well, I don't want to just completely not drink. I want to just, I want to control and enjoy my drinking. I didn't know those words at the time, but that's what I meant. And she said, well, you could try that if you want, but it didn't work for me. Well, I was pretending like I'd never tried that. I tried it every night, but I liked how she said that. I kind of thought, well, she doesn't think it's such a bad idea, really, and we know that didn't work. And then some people in town, they went to this place in San Diego, and they lost a lot of weight, and I thought, that's my problem. I need to lose some weight. If I lost a little weight, things would get better, And anyway, they went down this place in San Diego, and I got the brochure, and I read the brochure, and it said, wheatgrass, and it said all raw foods, and I didn't know what that meant really, but I liked the weight loss idea. And I signed up to go there, and that was May 10th, 1987. That happened to be Mother's Day that year. And at that morning, I had some, it was Mother's Day. I had a mimosa or something with my daughter, one drink, but I was going to go down there, and I didn't think about not drinking. I liked extreme diets, so, that was okay with me. And so I went down there, and then I found it was all, it was really determined all raw foods. There's no meat in that. And it was wheatgrass, and you put this wheatgrass in a lot of different places. Any place that you can imagine, you put it down there, and or in there, around there, and so anyway, I'd already paid my way, and so I checked in, and I went for the program. I got on that wheatgrass deal, and fasting and juicing, and I detoxed. And I could feel that my body cleaned out, and I was sitting on the lawn, and one day after I'd been there probably 4 or 5 days, and this woman comes up and says, does anyone know where there's a AA meeting? And I said, yeah, there's a place right across the street, because it had that angled sign with the double A's on it, and there were motorcycles out there, so I know what you guys look like from the outside, And I said, it's right across the street. And she looked at me and said, are you an alcoholic? Just because I saw the sign out there, and the motorcycles. And, that isn't that odd that she would say, are you an alcoholic? I thought, but then my answer was odd too, because my answer was, I don't know. And that's the right answer. See, I didn't know. I didn't know what alcoholics look like. I didn't know look like you guys. I didn't know what they looked like. I didn't know what they did. But, so anyway, when I said, I don't know, well, she knew. If you don't know, like we have those 20 questions to tell us, whether or not we are, and we lie on those. So we turn out with a good score, And, but anyway, she started hanging around me. And I really liked her. I had that connection with her, like we have in here. And that's how I felt with her. I felt safe and comfortable. And the next thing I know, I went over to that meeting with her, and it was the Lemon Grove Alano Club. And there was a speaker there. She was standing up at a podium like this, and everyone's having lunch, and it's noisy in there, and they're talking, and she's standing up there sharing, and she's cussing and talking about God. I thought, this is all right in here. Kind of noisy, and you can cuss if you want, and talk about God, and in a way it was church-like, but then it wasn't, and so I went to that meeting, and I stayed in that. I ended up staying in that wheatgrass place for 3 weeks because I liked how I felt, and then I went back, and I now I'm into it. I'm a full-on vegetarian. I'm juicing and sprouting and doing the enemas and the whatevers, and with this wheatgrass, and I got back to Catalina, and I'm growing my own wheatgrass and juicing it, and so then this lady calls that was looking for the AA meeting, and she says, how you doing? I says, oh, just fine. And she says, have you been to any meetings? And I said, no, but I'm not drinking, I'm juicing and sprouting. And she says, well, some people can do it without going to AA, but she says it's kind of like walking up a steep hill with slippery shoes on. And, I lived on the steepest hill in Catalina at the time. And it was a brick street, and I thought, slippery shoes. It was just simple enough for me to think, well, that'd be stupid to walk up that hill with slippery shoes, And then she says, I'm coming to Catalina. I want to try out those meetings over there. And I'm thinking, don't come over here, lady. She'll be passing the word around downtown that, about me. And anyway, so she came over, and I didn't ask her to stay at my house. And I got real busy when she got to town. I avoided her, and she knew what I was doing. And then she says, I came here just to visit you, just to see you. And so I blessed her with my company, And we went out to dinner, and we went to this little Italian place, and she insisted on buying the dinner, and I didn't want her to buy the dinner because I know that deal. If she buys the dinner, I go to the meeting with her. you know, and that's exactly how it was. She bought the dinner, and now I'm guilty, so I got to go to the meeting with her. And we're walking down the street, and this is the part I really like. We're walking down the street to the meeting, and she turns to me and says, "Now you don't have to go if you don't want to." And I said, "No, I want to go." And that was a lie. I didn't want to go, but I owed her, you know. And but it gave me the illusion that it was my idea. And that's what we do in here. We make it your idea. Welcome newcomers. Welcome to Alcoholics Anonymous. And I hope it's your idea that you're here, and your idea that you get to stay. And so anyway, we walked to that meeting, and you know, there was probably 10 people in the meeting, and it went around the room, and everyone said their name, that they were an alcoholic. And when it got to me, I said, "I'm Sally, I'm an alcoholic." And I knew it. I knew it all the way through. "I'm Sally, I'm an alcoholic." And I've been saying it ever since. "I'm Sally, I'm an alcoholic." I'm glad I know who I am, because I didn't know who I was. I wanted to be whoever you want me to be. And in here, I learned that when I stand up, I get to be me. And I'm good enough. I'm good enough in here. And I heard you share about the truth about you. And I'd end up and I'd sit down, I'd think, what the hell did I say, you know? Why did I tell him about that? And
Sally, you can speak up a little bit.
okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, I heard the truth in here. I heard you stand up and tell the truth and be you. And it made it okay for me to be me and stand up and tell the truth. And what a relief. Because I was an actress. I was an actress before I got here. I was whoever I thought you wanted me to be. And in here, I'm good enough just the way I am. And you know, I've got to stay. I have a sponsor, and I've worked the steps, and I go to a meeting every day, because I love coming to Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm glad to know who I am, and it's not so bad as I thought, you know. And I don't know. What time do I quit?
5 more minutes.
I have 5 minutes here. So anyway, this is the best part of my life. You know, my daughter is the one that paid the price for my seat in here. And, you know, somebody paid for our seats, for everybody, I believe. But anyway, she's the one that really paid. And I have a good relationship with her today. I did I didn't understand those steps on the wall. I thought, oh my, that just seemed so overwhelming to me. The only thing I understood about that was the third tradition. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. And I said to Frank Honeycutt, I don't get these steps. And he says, honey, don't worry about the steps. You just keep coming to the meetings and the steps will work you. And that's what I like about here. Just keep coming to the meetings, the steps will work you. And the steps worked me. And, you know, I've been sober 30 years. 30 years. I'll just tell you my daughter's age. When I got sober, she was 27. Now she's 57. I was 47, so that you're going to need a calculator for that. And you know, and so I've got 30 years without a drink, and I enjoyed every day of it. And I missed a lot of years, a lot of life. And I made amends to that daughter of mine, and you know, I made amends to my ex-husband, who also paid a high price. And you know, and I didn't just go to him and make amends. We were sitting he was in my office in the restaurant in Catalina, and he was talking about his wife, you know, and I could see that look of love on his face, and I thought, oh God, I'm so glad you're happy. And, you know, I said, I'm sorry, I'm so happy that you have a wife that you deserve. And I'm sorry I couldn't be that for you. And he was leaving the room by then. You know, he didn't want to hear about it, anything more serious than that. But you know, Jim would come over and see me and Catalina. And he and Bruce, you know, the ex, they became better friends than me. You know, I was an outcast. They just had the best time up in that office and laughing and, I don't know, silly, whatever men do talk about. Not important stuff like us females talk about. So anyway, I have a really good life, and I'm happy to be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I never had it so good, and that's what Frank Honey would say. Never had it so good. I'm on the sunny side of the street, and you know that's the truth. I probably wouldn't have lived this long. I couldn't have lived this long drinking the way I drank, and the party was over. It was so over, and here I have value in my life, real value. What an honor to come here tonight and speak to you and know that I'm in. Count me in. Thanks.